Welcome to the Dragon's Library, your source for games, movies, shows, and more. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dragon's Library. So, I have not yet finished Elden Ring yet. It is a very long game, and I am still picking my way through it because I want to get, have a decent experience with a Souls game. I don't want to try and judge it based on half-ass kind of playthroughs, so I've been, trying to explore a lot of side bosses in my free time and, give it a proper shake. It's also just a game you need to, be ready for the boss encounters on. You can't just power through them like you can in Horizon. There's no, hey, I need to finish this review, let's turn down the difficulty on the last, 2 bosses and then redo them on a normal difficulty later when I have time. That's not an option here, so here we are. As a result, I'm going to be doing a different review today and hopefully get Elden Ring finished, probably not this weekend, maybe next Friday. So look for that next Friday, and on next Monday, I've actually been thinking about reviewing Demon's Souls because I played that on what little actual enjoyment time I had, and I want to get a review out of it. I have some footage so I can post it to YouTube. Also, the YouTube videos have been delayed recently. I've been having a little trouble with some of the, with getting the editing done. Don't worry, those are going to be going up, by tomorrow morning. I will be posting the last, week of videos that I was supposed to post, so. Alright, everybody good? Okay, well, now that we've got the news out of the way, let's talk about Cuphead. So, Cuphead is an animated adaptation of a video game that came out a few years back. Cuphead came out in 2017, and it was an amazing game. I've actually played it. I haven't had the time yet to beat it because when it came out, I tried to play through it, but it was taking a while like a lot of Souls games do, and then a lot of stuff came up, and I've just kept putting it off. I've been getting through a boss or so every few months because every few months I get an urge to go play it, get through a single boss, and then I get too busy to really devote the time necessary to get good at it. So I'm still playing through that. I really want to finish it. Hopefully I'll finish it and do a review for it before the second season comes out. That seems like a good time to do it. It's apparently we're getting it next season this summer, actually, which is really cool. The turnaround for this show is great. What you need to know about the game, since this is an adaptation, I like to go into an overview of the game first. Cuphead, the game, was a action platformer. It means it's a platformer, i.e. a game where you're jumping between platforms and trying to time those jumps, combined with action elements, i.e. in this game you had a sort of animated finger gun that fired energy blasts, and you had to battle boss monsters in order to collect their souls. The baseline of the plot is Cuphead and Mugman lose their souls, lose a bet with the devil, and owe him their souls, but they don't want to give them to him, so they offer to collect the souls of the other people who owe him souls, but are too powerful, and he doesn't have the time to collect for. Basically, they beat all the other people, and they keep their souls, but obviously, since the devil is a boss in this game, he obviously doesn't keep his word, because, the devil. Cuphead's gameplay is pretty simplistic. I will admit that it's well balanced and all, but the main thing that set it apart from other 2D action platformers was 2 main things. First off, really hard boss difficulty. This is a great game and has co-op even, which actually is balanced by the fact that, you can pour twice as much damage in, but the fact that there's another person jumping around the screen in a game with so many particle effects that it looks like a bullet hell shooter, it makes it even harder to see. So, basically, it's technically easier with 2 people, but there's a tension price to doing so. I am only able to play it with 1 person at the moment, so I can't really comment on the second player functionality. The other main thing was its gorgeous art style. This game is a throwback to retro, cartoons. And the show very much is involved in that. Basically, in this show, instead of needing to go collect the boss's souls, it's sort of a, throwback to old animation of the early 2000s and 90s with episodic shows. Basically, instead of, Bugs Bunny and stuff like that, not even the 90s, the 50s and 60s, instead of having a overarching plot, well, there is, a sort of thing with, Cuphead technically lost his soul due to some stupid coincidence at the Carney, and the devil's constantly trying to collect on it. So that fuels a few episodes, but mostly it's just Cuphead and Mugman go out and get into trouble, and run into some of the bosses and characters from the game series. It's very interesting to see a Netflix show like this, because Netflix lives and dies mostly on serialized, bingeable series. And this is very much a episodic, cartoon adventure, slapstick series where even the devil isn't taken that seriously. Like he throws a hissy fit at one point. And the whole thing is rendered in a very realistic depiction of early color animation. So it has little quirks, like, for example, just like in the games, you might notice that the gloves and shoes are different shades of yellow, white, and brown, in different frames of the show. And that, like, usually would be like, wow, you guys couldn't even keep a consistent color palette. But that was actually done intentionally, both the games and the show. Because back in the days of color animation, they didn't pay as much attention to exactly what color they were drawing with. So characters, like gloves, for example, like Mickey Mouse's gloves in early series would literally sometimes just flip-flop between different shades in between frames. Like, literally one frame would be white, and then you cut away for a second, you cut back, and suddenly it'd be a different shade. Which is, it's part of the whole, we're rendering this in the most authentic way possible. The game even had like a sort of grain over it, to make it look like it was being on actual film. The show doesn't have a lot of those flourishes, though again, it does keep the color changing stuff like that, and a lot of the old time setting. This is set like in an era where radio shows are still the most popular thing on earth. Like, people tune into their favorite radio drama like they do TV. So you're thinking like early 50s, late 40s kind of thing. All in all, it's a great show. It's fun. Comedy's good. Mugman and Cuphead are the oblivious protagonists, accidentally working their way out of trouble while they attempt to get to a simple goal. Despite it probably being aimed at a slightly older audience, I'd actually say it's a good show for kids. The humor is, for the most part, pretty kid-friendly, and there aren't really that many shows like this anymore, so a lot of kids might find this pretty novel. In addition, the shorter length is probably going to be a nice boom for it, because, trends are showing that people are going for shorter entertainment. So it's nice to see animation going back to some of its older roots with those, 12-minute episodes. Again, it was a big surprise for me, because the first episode I watched it, I'm like, wait, it's already over? How long is this thing? Oh, it's 12 minutes, okay. All in all, Cuphead is just a refreshing surprise. It's not amazing, perfect, or anything like that, but it's a serviceable comedy animated show with a short length and good characters. The animation is, while not as good as the game, still very good. I love the brief scene when Fin Fang Foom showed up. So, I'm gonna be all for that. But, yeah. All in all, that's basically all there is to this. Like, there's not really that much. I can give you a basic summary of the plot, though, so we're gonna be going to spoilers. The spoilers are actually gonna be really short this time. If you want to hear it, you can hear it. If not, don't bother. The only spoiler, really, is the cliffhanger, which isn't really probably gonna be a cliffhanger. It seems like the kind of thing that's gonna be immediately retcon fix the second the next episode comes out. So feel free to skip the spoiler summary or watch it. It really doesn't matter for your enjoyment. Alright, everybody good? So, in the first episode, Cuphead and Mugman go run an errand for their, Grandpa Kettle. And yes, they're both mugs and he's a, living kettle. This is very old-style cartoons with animal people, humans, and living inanimate objects all living in the same universe. Some of them having more limbs than they're supposed to. Like, there's an optometrist who's a living screwdriver. We're playing very fast and loose with the rules of reality here, as cartoons should. So they go to this carnival, and Mugman starts playing this game where you just, it's one of those skeet ball games, like a really old one, though, without any automation stuff to it. And it's like, do this to win, and when you lose, your soul gets sent down to hell and claimed by the devil. And it doesn't really seem like you win any prize, so he's kind of ripping them off even when they win. Mugman is actually, Cuphead is actually really good at this game. Mugman is like the timid companion, sort of the Luigi to his Mario. And Mugman realizes what's happening, is like trying to get Cuphead to stop playing, because although he's like clowning on us, like he's making trick shots and making every single one of them, and the whole crowd is going crazy. In fact, the devil starts getting upset because he's winning too much and distracting all the other customers from losing their souls and not giving him his. So Mugman tries to stop him, but then the devil shows up and Mugman starts, overreacting. Cuphead, who is still making every shot with the distractions, messes up because of Mugman, and now he owes the devil his soul. Even though the devil kind of cheated, because you'd think all those wins would cancel out a single loss. But, apparently the devil doesn't play by fair rules. So he tries to take Cuphead's soul, but the two of them manage to escape, and he spends several episodes of the next season trying to get it back. That's all there really is. There's a sweater that they have to try and get the soul that keeps the devil from touching him, an invisible one, made of invisible yarn in one episode. the devil eventually has it put around him and electrocuting him a bunch. So he's knocked out for the rest of the season after that, but it's like the second to last episode, I think. The devil trying to save face over the fact that he's lost a kid's soul that he's supposed to claim and he can't force that kid to give it back. But aside from that, it's mostly just episodic quests with the two of them trying to have fun or avoid angering Elder Kettle. And Elder Kettle is kind of the oblivious grandpa with the really strict rules and everything his favorite. Like, he has his favorite tire, his favorite radio, don't touch any of them, that kind of thing. The last episode is probably the most significant. At the end, we meet, supposed to be a new character from an expansion of the game, which is Miss Chalice, and she is, well, she's a chalice, yeah. But she's sort of like a con artist. She uses her charms to get people to give her stuff for free and then bolts before they realize that she's kind of scammed them. So she never stays around too long enough to annoy them, basically. And the two of them are like, wow, how'd you get them to do all that stuff for you? So she teaches them a few tricks of the trade, and she gives them this test to break into a cookie factory. They do it, but the two of them get knocked out, and she accidentally activated a silent alarm while turning on the machinery. So the police come to grab them, she bails, and leaves the two of them to get arrested. So that's how the series ends. It's just their end in jail. You notice how, like, there was only really a spoiler for, like, the end, one episode in the middle, and then in the beginning? That's because there's not a lot of plot here. There's not really even a lot of character development. It's mostly just two wacky characters going on ventures in a wacky world. Very Bugs Bunny-ish, you know? So, yeah, I guess that means this review is a little short today. That's all there is. So I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you'd like to check me out, I have been streaming my gameplay recently for Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West on my YouTube channel. You can check it out there. I will also be uploading all my new video form of the last few reviews, so you can check those out too. It'd mean a lot to me if you could, watch them. Really helps. All in all, next thing I will have available is I will be doing some streaming of Elden Ring this Saturday from around, let's see, probably at 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock. If you'd like to see those, you can go ahead and see those. Check it out. I'd very much appreciate it. I will also be streaming on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday as well until Elden Ring is finished. So, again, be on the lookout for those. Hope to see you then. Thanks for staying for all that. It means a lot. See ya next time. Bye. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and thank you for listening to the Dragon's Library. Please subscribe to this podcast to be notified of new episodes. The Dragon's Library releases new episodes Tuesday and Friday each week, and you can follow us on Twitter at Dragon_Library2. If you want to suggest an episode topic, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for all your support.